Welcome back. Today I'm going to be making sweet potato cheesecake pie. Everything from scratch. Let's get started. So I have some regular flour and some oat flour or ground oatmeal. To that I'm going to be adding some cinnamon, salt. You must add salt to all sweet things. It enhances sweetness. Granulated sugar. Some brown sugar. And mix that up. Mix it well. A whisk probably would have done a better job, but you know, you live and you learn. So I'm going to be adding a whole stick of cold butter. I'm going to use this handy little butter cutting gadget to cut that in. You could use forks, you could use 2 butter knives, you could even use your hands, but please use a bigger bowl. So here I am having a hard time with my tiny bowl. So we're just gonna work that butter in until you have a texture that is like sand, clumps together. Everything well mixed. If you've ever made shortbread, that's what you're doing here. So I'm going to make sure this is mixed, retrieve the pie topping that is all over my counter. Here's a nice clean pie plate, and I'm going to press my pie dough into the pie plate as evenly as possible. Perfection is not needed, although we should always strive to attain perfection. I'm just gonna press this in here the best way I can. Using various kitchen tools, as you will see. So you just wanna get that evenly pressed around it because this is going to contain our pie filling. We don't want anything seeping out. So I'm just gonna get it as evenly spread as possible so that it's an even thickness all over. The various kitchen tools, my measuring cup. You could use a teacup also. So I'm going to finish mashing and bake this in a preheated oven for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. So while my pie crust is cooling, I am going to take my room temperature softened cream cheese in another incredibly tiny bowl. To that I'm going to add sour cream, also room temperature. Cream cheese and sour cream mix better together when they're room temperature. It's harder to mix some things when they're cold. So here I have my handy dandy whisk. You could use a hand mixer if you want, but I'm just gonna use my trusty little whisk. So here's my granulated sugar, vanilla, mix that some more. And here's our egg. So I'm just gonna beat that into the mixture. Since this is a custard-like filling, we need that egg to help it set up. I'm going to pour this into my cooled pie crust. You could most definitely use a ready-made crust if you so choose. But why not use the delicious one I showed you how to make? So I'm just going to spread that around, get it nice and even. Yes, I'm a bowl scraper. Food waste makes me sad. So I'm just gonna smooth that out. So here I'm making my sweet potato filling. So I have some mashed sweet potatoes. Just throw it into your food processor or a food mill or mash it with whatever you have. About 4 tablespoons of softened butter. If it's cold, you're going to have a very hard time mixing it. If all else fails, melt it. Now, here's our spices. Salt. Get out of there. And some brown sugar. White sugar, granulated sugar. And 2 eggs. Vanilla. And I'm going to give that a mix. So here is my milk. I'm using evaporated milk. You could use whole milk, you could use heavy cream, half and half, whatever you have, use it. But I tend to always have evaporated milk, so. Just gonna whisk that together. Don't go crazy or you'll have milk all over everywhere. Be gentle at first. Now I'm going to very gingerly spread this sweet potato pie mixture over the cheesecake mixture. I want there to be 2 distinct layers in this pie. So I'm going to very carefully spoon this over my cheesecake filling layer. And then I'm going to, with a very light hand, I'm going to smooth the pie filling out. Don't press too hard. You don't want to mix the 2 layers together. So use a very light hand. Now, if a swirl is what you're going for, be my guest. But for this particular pie, I wanted 2 distinct layers. So once I finish smoothing this very tenderly, I'm going to bake this in an oven that's been heated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 55 to 65 minutes until it's set and only slightly jiggly in the center. So here's my baked pie. I'm going to cover it and allow it to cool and set overnight. You can just let it cool at room temp and eat, but I like mine cold. And cheesecake does so much better once it's been refrigerated. So here is the finished product with a little homemade whipped cream on top. Like, comment, and subscribe below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.